Blueberries, raspberries, and strawberries. Oh my. Yes, summer berry season is upon us.
From salads to dessert, berries are a fixture on plates this time of year. But berries aren't always cheap. In fact, I feel like they've gotten pretty expensive. So you want to make sure that you can keep them fresh for weeks and weeks.
Weeks and weeks? I can keep them for
a day.
So how do you do that? Well, we are turning to friend of the show and food blogger Jerry James Stone for all of the answers. And Jerry, thanks. Always fun times when you get a chance to join us here. Let's jump right into it. What is the best way to store our berries?
Yeah, the thing with berries, unlike everything else that you put in the fridge, usually you don't want to wash any produce before you put it in there. Water is sort of the enemy. It causes things to mold faster. But berries, because they have microbes on them, you want to actually wash them first. And so I always wash them in 3 parts water, 1 part white vinegar, soak them for about 15 minutes. But the key is you want to get them fully dry before you put them back in the fridge. I've had my fresh berries last up to 3 weeks, even longer than 3 weeks by doing this process. And this works for strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, all the berries.
Okay, that's crazy.
3 weeks?
Wow. Yeah, I know,
so,
right?
Wait, do you put them back in the container that they come in with the little holes, or do you put them in something airtight?
It doesn't really matter too much. The main thing is I typically put them in a container with a paper towel. Like that kind of helps absorb any other moisture that might build up within that container. So, I've tried putting it in the container that they came in. I've tried putting it in an airtight one. I haven't really seen that much of a difference. The main thing is really just getting them thoroughly dry before you put them back in the fridge, because that moisture is going to continue to cause that berry to spoil, which, strawberries aren't even a berry anyway, but either way, that's the important part. I know they're not a berry. Yeah.
Breaking news.
I know. Berries, technically berries have their seeds on the inside. So avocados are berries, bananas are berries, lemons are berries. Strawberries are actually not a berry because they're not even actually seeds, but the part that's on the outside, there's no seed on the inside. So grapes are a berry, but they're not technically a berry.
Huh. Wait, this is so off topic, but you're telling me like apples are berries? Peaches are berries?
Yeah, they have to have their seeds internally to qualify as technically a berry. It gets confusing because we've sort of named some things based on what sort of convenient consumer base. Like for example, we kind of consider tomatoes a vegetable, but they're technically a fruit, that kind of thing. Same thing with avocados. But yeah, they're it's in the name, but they're not actually a berry.
Wow.
All right, so back to the non-berry berries.
Oh my goodness, a refreshing way to enjoy that strawberry in smoothies. So what's a good way though to get rid of that stem? It's so pesky.
Yeah, so you can, I used to use the straw. I mean, if you are not comfortable with your knife skills, berries being small can be a little tricky. You can kind of just take a straw, poke it in there and work all the way, and you can pop that green part right out, which, is super convenient. But the thing is those greens are actually edible. So I'm wearing my Do Good shirt today because we're going to fight food waste. And the thing is, food waste contributes to climate change. So I take those greens, I typically throw them in a bag in the freezer, and I just blend them into my smoothie. So you don't typically notice that they're there because they're blended in with everything else, and they're high in fiber, they're high in nutrients, and it's just another way to eat the whole plant.
I love it. Less waste, which is what this segment is all about. Now, if you want to slice your strawberries, you say you have a time-saving hack. What is it?
Yes, I use an egg slicer. A lot of kitchen gadgets can be used for multi things. I mean, and they're great for slicing strawberries too. You can just pop it in there, boom, and you slice your strawberries. So if you have to slice a whole bunch at once, don't sit there and just chop them with a knife. Just use an egg slicer. You'll be done in like seconds.
Fantastic.
Hey, look at that. That's amazing. Now, do you recommend slicing them putting them back in the freezer or refrigerator?
No, you definitely, most produce, like once you kind of cut into it, it's like that moment on is when it's going to start to break down. So, the sooner to actually consuming it that you can chop it, the better. And berries are definitely high in that list. They're going to start to break down and spoil quickly after you chop them. So I would wait to slice them until you're ready to use them.
I love it.
Makes
Food
sense.
blogger Jerry James Stone. Always good to have you on the show. Thank you so much for being here, and love your shirt. Do good. He's trying to help us save the environment by reducing food waste, but also he's got a rainbow on there too.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.